Donk Nation, Jackson, Jennets, welcome to your Daily Dose of Donkey with Ginger. It's your boy, the Viking Donkey, bringing you some Steelers talk. We got Gingy in the house again for off-season football talk. What a rarity. Second week after the draft. That means there's not a whole lot to talk about, Gingy, but I'll do my best to bring up some undrafted free agents we didn't know about before or rookie mini camp invites. But Gingy, how you doing? What's going on?
Here, rocking and rolling, Donkey. Here to talk some Steelers football. What's going on in the league? I really enjoyed the draft. A lot of things starting to shake out. I think, Donkey. You know, a lot of people starting to fall into place across the league. Getting really excited for next year. Our squad's looking pretty sweet. What do you think?
It is. I'd like to see some cost-saving measures here to give us some more cap space going into next year. There's a few players that I'm looking specifically at, but I won't name who, but we've talked about them in previous episodes. But first, Gingy, there are some interesting undrafted free agents I think we should talk about here. The Steelers bring in a couple guys who maybe are the developmental quarterback of the future. Tanner Morgan played at Minnesota. I've watched a couple of his games. Doesn't have the biggest arm. The dude's a fiery competitor, though, and has decent tape, but I'm going to tell you right now, putting on the tape, his arm strength reminds me of Duck Hodges, so potential backup type of quarterback, but that's what you expected an undrafted free agent. But there's another interesting kid here we brought in. His name is Hunter Johnson. He went to Clemson, was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. The dude can throw the ball wherever the heck he went or wants. Transferred to Northwestern, never won a starting job, so really doesn't have tape out there except for him throwing around in pads. But arm strength for days. The Steelers going really Jekyll and Hyde here for undrafted free agent quarterbacks, and one of them has a good chance to win the third spot right now as it stands.
Heck yeah, Donkey. In the modern day NFL, what I'm looking for, maybe not even necessarily all the arm strength. I'm looking for accuracy, and I'm looking for mobility within and outside of the pocket. How's young Tanner looking in those departments?
He moved around a little bit in Minnesota. I wouldn't say he's the most athletic dude, but he's not afraid to get hit in the teeth. I can tell you that. I watched him get knocked out of a game. Well, and as for, go ahead.
I was looking at what we need is a tough guy in there. We need a guy who can make consistent, accurate passes, if indeed, and let's hope that we don't need that too often. But if Kenny ain't there, you know, having a reliable backup, good guy for the practice squad, good team player. I like that you said fiery competitor. So you know, somebody that keeps the guys honest day in and day out. Let's hope something comes of it.
That's true. That's a possibility there. Another couple interesting names I saw. I don't think they were signed to contracts, but invited to rookie minicamp are guys who played this year in the XFL. I'm talking about one who played with the Brahmas. Hines Ward was coaching that San Antonio team. You're talking Chidi Okiki, a 6'6", 319-pound offensive tackle, seems to really fit the new idea of brawling, bigger linemen the Steelers are going into. Maybe Hines Ward saw something in him, gave the Steelers a little heads up, and potential steal here for a end of the roster 10th lineman guy to be put on the board.
Can't have enough depth at that position, Donkey, especially when you're talking protecting the young Kenny Pickett, keeping him fresh, keeping him clean. Can't have enough depth.
That's true. And then the last intriguing name to me, really, I know there's Wilt signed out of Pitt. There's some other guys in there who have some cool names like Patton Baum, the fullback out of Iowa. But none of them really intrigue me. Yeah, they're guys who might make the roster as special team specialist types. But there's a guy goes by the name of Hakeem Butler. He played for the Battlehawks this year in the XFL. 6'5", 227 pounds. Former 4th-round draft pick, runs a 4.48, and he actually showed out when on the field, which is something I like to see. 51 catches, 599 yards, and an XFL high 8 touchdowns. Gingy, I'm just saying, Steelers struggled in the red zone. Wide receiver. Steelers struggled in the red zone. 6'5", 220 wide receiver who likes to catch touchdowns. This guy has a chance to make this roster.
Any guy who can put up consistent production in the red zone as that guy that you described, Donkey, is a guy who's going to find time on the field. So that'd be great.
And you know he likes catching passes from more of those finesse passers, as the Battlehawks quarterback was A.J. McCarron. A.J. McCarron, Kenny Pickett, very similar in terms of arm strength. Kenny Pickett a lot better in terms of the accuracy coming out of college. But A.J. McCarron was one of them bottom tier starter guys. So this is a guy who got to perform and got to get good reps with an NFL caliber quarterback. And maybe that's something not to overlook.
Here, Donkey. Always got to keep it competitive. Like having depth, like having guys who can provide, competitive challenge day in and day out. Coachable guys, good, good team players. Great. Can't be understated.
Gigi, it's that time of year. The draft is over. We're past compensation period, I believe, for free agents who are going to get signed here. Are there any Steeler ex-free agents out there that you're looking at and saying, man, they're about to get signed? I know we already brought back, why can't I think of the wide receiver's name? The special team, Miles Boykin. We already brought back Boykin. Is there any other guys you're looking to bring back? Are you looking for a Derek Watt reunion? Maybe Mason Rudolph coming back? Perhaps bringing in the injured Chris Wormley if his knee's up to go. Any of these names intriguing you, or a name that you expect to see back with the Steelers now that the draft is over?
I'll tell you, interesting choice of words. Intriguing. Man, I would like to see Chris Wormley recover. We saw production from him on the field when he was healthy, Donkey. Big impacts, run support. Oh, man. Donkey, that's intriguing right there. If that guy was able to, rehab and recover, could be another key depth piece in that defensive line.
Don't forget a sneaky 7 sacks 2 years ago when he was playing with this fully healthy Steelers roster as a part-time starter. I mean, can't be overstated the potential there.
That's the one right there. I feel like that's the most, in terms of the players that you're talking about, I feel like that's the one with the most potential for the wow impact. You said the Mason Rudolph, the Derek Watts, but defensive line, that guy could come in and make a difference.
Very, very much so. Maybe William Jackson III comes back and we get to see if there was actually a reason the Steelers acquired him in a trade. Although the cornerback room, I'm going to be honest, is looking very deep. I was reading lots of articles who a lot of people's favorite day 3 draft pick, so 4th through 7th round, right, is what day 3 is now considered, was Trice Jr., the cornerback we got. And I pointed out to you before, you look at him measurable wise, he is Joey Porter Jr. You put on the tape, he plays like Joey Porter Jr. Not anywhere near as shut down as Porter Jr. was, right? But physical, has decent recovery speed. I've been reading a lot more about him. I've been watching more tape on him. I'm going to tell you, out of the late round picks, I do see something there in Trice that could be groomed into something very, very usable, Gingy. Maybe we got a steal here, and maybe we're talking the Steelers. This is the draft where we hit cornerback. Knock on wood, because we've never really done it before, but, maybe this is the draft.
I hope so, Dong. We desperately need a lockdown number 1 corner. We've brought on veteran guys, we've brought on hope guys, we've brought on,
Bryce McCain. That's the
we've brought on guys with high potential, right? But very possible chance of bottoming out. And I would love to see a real solid cornerstone at that cornerback position. That would be great. So, when's the last time we drafted a solid corner? He's all the way back to Rod Woodson.
Cam Sutton. Am I allowed to say Cam Sutton? Because he was pretty damn solid last year. If you're saying a true number 1,
yeah.
What's your view on Ike Taylor? I never called him a number one because I believe cornerbacks need to make plays, and Ike Taylor never made splash plays. It got overshadowed because Troy was great at them, but I can't say Ike Taylor was ever a true one because true ones make splash plays.
Yeah. Okay, so then it's got to be Rod Woodson then.
Yeah, I guess you go back that far because I'll be honest with you. I don't remember a single true one corner on the Steelers as long as I can think.
Somebody in the comments correct us for sure. There's got to be one.
The 1 year of Cortez Allen before he got hurt.
We're not talking no one and done's, donkey.
then I'm shooting at nothing because I can't name you a single one. Dang. Ike Taylor would be the one I would argue was modern day. Because say what you want about the Steelers, since I've been born, the Steelers have never had great cornerback play. They've always had great safety play. I mean, Carnell Lake, Darren Perry, even into guys who are just physical guys for a couple of years, and Lee Flowers. You have Ryan Clark. You have Troy Polamalu. You go next generation, you bring in Minkah Fitzpatrick. It's always been about the safeties here in the Steelers. I don't ever feel it's been about the corners. It's those safeties. It's those linebackers. It's the big nasties wearing the 90s, Gingy. That's what the Steelers' way has always been, and that's what the Steelers' way will always be. I have this odd feeling.
That's why I'm super excited to see this year in the draft really focusing in on those big nasties, those big trench guys, offensive line, defensive line, front defensive seven. Those are the ones that, those grinders are going to dictate the pace of play. And that's very important.
Dare we say the offensive word nowadays, because Mike Tomlin caught a little bit of grief for this, but dare we call them goons, Gingy, because goons have apparently went the way of cancel culture.
What did he say about young Benton? Was that it?
Yeah, he was talking about Benton.
Need some media training with that young man. That might be a tough conversation for that young man to learn about discretion with Mr. Mike Tomlin face to face. What do you think, Donkey?
I think Tomlin might need to get on a step stool to get on that guy's level. And I'll give him this. Tomlin has never really backed down from a lot of players, but he's never been the type to hold. Let's be honest here, Gingy. Mike Tomlin and strict accountability do not go hand in hand.
Not typically, but I find that he builds relationships where he seems to have players that the players that the players that don't like playing for that style seem to find their way out of Pittsburgh pretty quickly, and the guys who do stick around seem to swear by his coaching style. So I don't know.
Yeah, but how often have we seen those who get out be such a detrimental loss to the Steelers? Let's just talk last 5 years. The Tomlin era led to losses of Melvin Ingram. Man, could we have used an extra pass rusher that year? Or how about LeGarrette Blount? He goes and wins the Super Bowl. And we lost. Didn't we lose Le'Veon Bell in the playoffs that year? Ironic. I mean, I get it, the way it's going to work. Yada, yada, yada. Steeler way, blah, 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 blah. See if these young kids get in. See if these young kids can influence a new Steelers way. And let's be honest here. We need some leadership going somewhere. We need someone to step up to take it, especially on that younger offense. We brought in a couple veterans. Maybe they'll help modernize the Steeler way because, well, we probably could use a little bit of modernization, especially, I don't know if you've been reading, but the last Steeler whack job going off on all sorts of want to be a hype train, locking his own team that he owns out of hotel rooms, putting on Twitter that he's joining the Baltimore Ravens. You've been following any of the AB drama, Gingy?
Following no, but yes, I've heard.
Quite a entertaining situation going on with that.
Oh, boy, it just seems like a desperate attempt to stay relevant, Donkey. Very sad from a very promising a start to a career. And we say start, but this is start by like 7 years. There was a solid for most ball players. That's a pretty solid career, but he was capable of so much more. Very sad.
You take the touchdowns out of the equation, which, by the way, you can't do that. But that dude who put up better numbers than Jerry Rice through 7 years, type of good.
You see what I'm saying? We're not just talking about like a one-off here. This dude could have been a legend.
This is a guy who, even with the way he blew up his career at his early 30s, has potential Hall of Fame numbers. Is what's scary about it. I mean, you look at some guys who are in the Hall of Fame right now, and I'll tell you, Antonio Brown beats them hands down. But then you also have guys like Hines Ward still not in the Hall of Fame.
And frankly, say what you will, if you are able to separate the person from the ball player, which I understand if you can't, but if you just look at the ball player as just as such, I mean, there are some memorable Steeler moments there, Donkey.
Antonio Brown is
the immaculate extension.
I was going to bring up the Ravens game. Yep. Antonio Brown is one of my all-time favorite Pittsburgh Steelers. I understand what he did. I understand the way he ran himself out of here. I understand all that. But he was the little dog who had more fight than anyone. Say what you want. He wasn't afraid to go over the middle and get hit by Vontaze Burfict. He wasn't afraid to carry 3 defenders of the Baltimore Ravens and stretch that ball out into the end zone. Antonio Brown was that guy who got it done. Antonio Brown was that guy who made special things happen. Antonio Brown was that guy who made Mike Wallace, Sammy Coates, name any receiver who ran second fiddle to him, Juju Smith-Schuster. He was that guy that made that other person better. And I loved it. I loved every moment of it until he went absolute whack job in after that Burfict hit, I guess, is the timing that I'll use for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it sort of went off the rails, off the field, right around that time or 1 or 2 seasons after. But yeah, I can't echo what you said. And again, separating the person from the ball player, hard-working guy. All of his teammates liked him on the team. It was allegedly one of the hardest working guys there, always there early, staying late, running extra reps. Like, as a ball player, he was on his way to being something special.
Yep. Things outside of the sport can sometimes get in the way, is what we'll say there. And it is what it is. Sad thing to see that happen there. But I don't have too much more to talk about here, Gingy. We got into some fun topics. Earlier today, we had a little talk before the show about a case study going on in football right now about what happens when good quarterbacks get paid great money. And I think we've agreed there is a whole plethora, and maybe just a division, the AFC North, where we can make a great comparison on this, because we have Joe Burrow about to get paid. Lamar Jackson just got paid. Deshaun Watson's been paid, and Kenny Pickett's on a rookie contract. So maybe we just have to look at one division to see what way works best, Gingy.
I'm really excited. Yeah, we'll give the folks a sneak peek of that, Donkey. I mean, the AFC, we're talking absolute monster when it comes to the quarterback position and how much those guys are getting paid. What I was saying earlier, the ultimate experiment. If Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets and win a Super Bowl, all bets are off the table. We're talking about people getting Deshaun Watson numbers no matter what. If that type of guy can command that type of position, there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks who try to leverage that and use that moving forward. So I'm interested to see how that sort of experiment plays out in the AFC East, which is a very competitive division, in my opinion. We were talking earlier. The Jets come in and immediately have stiff competition with the Bills and the Dolphins. What do you think, Donkey?
Gingy, the whole AFC is competitive. I think if you were to put the AFC versus the NFC right now, there's 2 NFC teams that make the top 10, in my opinion. The rest are AFC teams. And you could do...
Yeah, go ahead. I was going to say, your only argument is the AFC South. The AFC South is sus.
Yeah, but what's not to like about what Trevor Lawrence did last year at Jacksonville? Who's not to believe that Indy finally found a quarterback that's worth a damn, which is going to make that team good? Houston, I just still think's a year or two away, so I'll give you a break there. And why am I blanking on the last team in that division?
Colts, Titans.
Said Indy. Titans, there we go. And the Titans, let's not forget, they were the 1 seed in the AFC the year before. Tannehill, is he going to hold out the job? Is the rookie going to get the job there? Who knows what's going on with Tennessee? That could be another team right up there again. I mean, you look at the AFC, we can go over division by division, and I think there's 2 Super Bowl contenders in every division in the AFC is what I look at, Gingy. There's not a team that I don't think has a chance in the AFC North. The AFC East, you have Buffalo, you have Miami. The AFC South, you have Jacksonville and Indianapolis is the team I'd put in there, although you could argue Tennessee. You go to the West, Kansas City, are you kidding me? Like, how'd you count them out? The Chargers, absolutely stacked. Can Russ get Denver back into going? And how do the Vegas Raiders look with Garoppolo, right?
Right.
I mean,
yeah, I'm with you on all
AFC
that.
is just stacked. Like, you look at the teams, I said there's 2 top teams in the NFC that I would put up there in competition. I think San Francisco, I think Philadelphia. You're not really going to get me to buy any other NFC team better than the top 8 AFC teams.
Yes, I 100% agree with you on that, but I am just still saying that the Tennessee Titans, I feel, are very sus. We're talking about a Tennessee Titans without a Derrick Henry. Is that my understanding? And we're talking about...
He's still on the team, right? They were trying to trade him and never got to?
I'm not certain. I don't know. Did he move?
I didn't think he got moved, but I could have missed something. I'm not going to lie. I don't follow NFL news too close. So if it didn't pop across the time I was looking, I would have missed it.
They totally are talking about abandoning the Malik Reed experiment after 1 year and going with this new toy, Will Levis, right?
Will Levis, yep.
I feel like that's going to create an identity crisis. Tannehill has to be the guy, otherwise they're going to get the proverbial Kenny.
Tannehill is the guy for now. One thing I'll say is don't give up on the Reed thing, although if he gets cut, the Steelers should look to add him just because of the talent level. Third quarterback, not bad. Reed and Levis are very similar guys. Reed's a better runner than Levis, but both of them are guys who have arm strength out the wazoo, but neither one of them has accuracy worth a darn, and neither one of them has great tape when you put on watching them play. So who knows what's going to go on there. I agree. Tennessee's one of those teams, though, if they stay healthy, they obviously have a chance because, I'm sorry, if you have Derrick Henry and he's healthy, you have a chance. It's just that simple. The bigger question is, Derrick Henry's at that point of his career, like all running backs, he just can't play 17 games anymore, just like Zeke.
It really is moving to an NFL, I feel, donkey, where you're that dual tandem running back position. If you got 2 guys there, it really puts you through a grueling 18-game season.
Gingy, you've turned into a robot. So while Gingy tries to unturn into a robot, I will monologue here. My whole point here, and the thing that I wanted to point out, and when Gingy comes back, if he's not a robot, we will ask him this, is if you were to rank the top 10, let's say, quarterbacks, and because that's what this whole conversation started on, was quarterbacks and quarterbacks getting paid, how many of those top 10 quarterbacks fall outside of the AFC? And then all those top ones that you might put in the NFC, how many of them stand above 6 foot tall? Because apparently the NFC is now the conference of the dwarfs because small quarterbacks seem to be the way of the future in the NFC. Whereas the AFC likes your big prototypical Trevor Lawrence type of guys.
I don't know, Donkey, but I think the NFC is ripe for a dark horse to come out. I am looking forward to see a team shock the heck out of us, Donkey. If you had to take a guess, if there was a team that was to emerge from the NFC, one that you wouldn't expect, not one of the two that you mentioned, the Niners or the Eagles. Which one do you think would it be?
Washington Redskins, because Riverboat Ron is good every 3 years. Oh, my bad, Commanders.
These are the Commanders, donkey. I don't know what NFL you're talking about.
I'm back in the 90s with the pigs, baby. Oink, oink.
Oh, worth it. Definitely worth it. But yeah, that's a fine choice. I myself, donkey, would stay in that division. Maybe go for a bit further of a stretch. Maybe looking for Danny Dimes to grow into this contract and see what kind of squad the Giants can put together.
Are you allowed to call a playoff team a dark horse team? I just want clarification.
I don't know. Judges? Anybody?
Everyone who gets to see this, which is mainly just my wife, you get the vote here. You get to break the tie. Is a playoff team allowed to be called the dark horse?
Oh, no. Are the New York Giants dark horse worthy?
It has to be the Giants.
I don't like your question.
They have a $40 million quarterback. They're not allowed to be dark horses.
We'll let it up to the Jackson Jets.
Shoot. All right, Gigi, that is everything I had for the day. Any closing topics from you?
Here, donkey. Nope. Getting really locked in. Getting ready to hopefully see some OTA action. See the boys getting back together. Getting ready. Looking forward to it, donkey.
Any shout outs from you this week, Gingy?
Oh boy, nah, caught me off guard. No shout outs, donkey. Pretty quiet week. How about you?
I have to give just one little shout out. And it's to Gingy for showing up again and for Gingy promising me he was going to rip cross Boswell, but being courteous enough to the boss to not do it. So I really like that, Gingy. So I'll give you the shout out this week and a special one to the boss because you didn't get to rip him. And he's going to have a great season this year. Laskers was just a year early in his X Factor prediction.
There's still time for him. This week wasn't his week, though.
That means, words are hard. That means it's time to let you know I am the Viking Donkey. That's Viking_Donkey on Twitch and Twitter. Your daily dose of donkey with Ginger's a YouTube channel where you can leave us a like, comment, follow. Tell us what you want to hear in the off-season talk. Tell us if there's any undrafted free agents you're looking forward to seeing. Anyone coming over from the XFL or new additions to the Steelers. But it's that time. Gingy's going to sign us out.
Me and Gingy in the house. We hanging out, playing games, talking football. Let's go. Steeler fans. Keeping it warm. Keeping it ready. Looking at a solid squad for this year. Wave them if you got them. Here we go, Steelers.